Yeah.
I'm going live on both.
It just.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me.
Boom! Welcome to Millionaire Before 30, where we are on a mission.
We are here to give you guys the exact blueprint of how to become a millionaire before 30 years old. I'm Ryan Zolin.
I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and we are joined, as always, with our man over here, Albert.
How you guys doing? Welcome, everybody. We got an amazing show lined up.
We're talking about something really important here. We're talking about essentially step 2 of the Millionaire Before 30 blueprint. So,
Yes.
Matt, let's pop this up. Let's get everybody refreshed. Let's get everybody excited. This is the blueprint, guys. First, you start out with doing a deal.
Yep.
All right, do a deal. Now, listen, on this channel, on this show, we are very real estate investing heavy because we know the power of being able to start with nothing, being able to use your voice and communication skills and efforts to go out there and find discounted properties and make huge profits from that. So, but listen, doing a deal could just be whatever your side hustle is, whatever your interests are, wherever that lies, right?
Yep,
We had Ricky Gutierrez on last week, and he started with day trading stocks.
Right.
And listen, there's a million different other side hustles. Trust me, TikTok will show you all of them if you want to go down that rabbit hole. But find the one that really resonates with you and just do a deal. And then what we're talking about today is when does that side hustle turn into your full-time business?
Right. And I mean, full-time, we talk about this all the time when we go through the blueprint, but going full-time, that's like the biggest step, in my opinion, to where you start to see the success. Going from actually having proof of concept to doing this full-time.
Yep.
I mean, what else more can you ask? You already understand how to do this, how to generate the income, which then obviously would lead to our step 3.
You know, I always thought it was always interesting to me. I remember being 18, 19, 20 years old. I remember being in college. I remember going through school, and I was like, you know, this thing is just kind of teaching me to get a job, how to build a resume, how to do the right things, to be able to be plugged into a system. What we're talking about here is being brave, going out there, having that entrepreneurial spirit that's inside of all of us that says, you know what, I don't want to be plugged into a machine. I want to be
the machine.
The machine.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that is so critical. But to be the machine, you have to earn this. I had an analogy yesterday, guys, that was like people start out and they're white belts.
Right.
You can't just go and buy a black belt, put it on, and be taken seriously. The only way to get a black belt is to earn a black belt, right? The only way to truly get a championship ring is to earn
the ring,
a championship ring, which takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of grind. It takes a lot of, you know, just mental effort and belief and optimism. All of these things wrapped up into one to be an entrepreneur. And we start with doing a deal first.
Yes.
Because that's the proof. That's from faith to fact. Now we're building and we're growing, and we know out of the ether, out of the air, we can pull income into our life.
Right.
That's right.
Now, how do you do that and get into a place where you have security and you have a foundation that you know that you can take care of your family, take care of your responsibilities, and take care of what's going on in here with what goals you want to achieve?
Well, and I think you hit it right on the head there with the last part. For me, I could tell you a lot of it. I think I struggle a lot being younger, like getting into this, because like you had said, when you're in school, you're told to follow the rules, stay within the guidelines, how to do literally anything and everything. To then when you go and you're basically a young adult in the world, you're like, there's no rules.
Right.
You could do whatever.
Right.
So once you have that discipline and understanding, the biggest struggle I had was mindset. It was understanding like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get through? And then I also didn't have reserves saved up.
Right.
I was right out of high school. I mean, to me, $2,500, that was, if you had $2,500 in your bank account, you were living large.
You're living large.
You're living large.
That's nice.
So then going from that to understanding that could be gone in one transaction or one purchase or whatever, I struggled. I didn't have that reserve saved up. So it took a lot of discipline. And fortunately, I was in a situation that I was living at home. I didn't have to worry about crazy overhead or bills, but I made sure to be very strategic that I was saving up, as we were talking about before the show, at least 6 months. At least 6 months of reserves.
I love it. I mean, that is the rule of thumb. To answer the question that is, when do you go full time? 6 months reserved, personal and professionally. And listen, a lot of people start and they don't have that.
Right.
A lot of people start and they're like, you know what? I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go as wild and as crazy and as active as I can.
Right.
And I'm going to make this happen. And you know what? Sometimes it does.
Of course.
Most times it doesn't.
No, definitely not.
Listen to me. That is why, I mean, look at the statistics of people that start businesses and those businesses still being around 3 to 5 years later.
Right.
It's abysmal. It's rough. That's why you have to be able to give yourself enough runway so that you can truly do this business without being really stressed out and really letting anxiety take over and really letting the parts of our brain that really mixes in all those emotional chemicals that prevent us from really going out and logically taking action. Because we get stuck in the tornado, man. We get stuck in that mental tornado that's like, oh, if I don't get a deal this week, X happens, this happens, that happens, whatever else. I'm going to switch to this track or that track or what is this person doing on Instagram and TikTok and everything else. And it's all these distractions. So not only will I say that 6 months of personal and professional expenses saved up, but you really, 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 really got to watch what you're putting into your brain and what you're doing with your downtime when you're not doing your business.
So how do you create that discipline then? Like, because it's a lot of mental strength that obviously comes. I mean, you said 6 months.
Yep.
That means no vacations. That means no extra added purchases or luxuries in your life in that 6 months. How do you get that discipline and mental strength if you're just wanting to go on a whim? Because a lot of people I talk to in this industry specifically, they have 9-to-5 jobs and they transition where they'll jump right into this full time and maybe they aren't ready.
Right.
We had someone on our team that did that. They ended up, they were saying they were going to just jump into the industry. They'd worked with us part time for a little bit. And then she was like, I'm just going to go for it. And I'm like, you need to make sure you've got money saved up. This is just, you haven't closed a deal yet. She forgot step one. She didn't do a deal.
Right.
So, I mean, that's why I asked the question. It's like, how do you understand that and mentally prepare yourself, especially when, I mean, you said it again, TikTok, Instagram, you're like, man, they're killing it with creative finance, flips, traditional real estate, multifamily, development, whatever it is. How do you focus?
I think you need to take your time and figure out what's the right path for you.
Okay.
And then, who do you know that's doing it? How do you squat up with those people? How do you find a crew that is going to cheerlead you, support you, answer your questions? That's why a lot of people join the coaching.
Yep.
Right? Because that's already built in and that's baked in. That's why a lot of people, that's why I always joined or got a coach, is because I was like, you know what? I don't want to have to figure this thing out myself, and I need a crew around me to be able to support what I'm doing and point me in the right direction.
Yep.
And now this isn't a pitch for coaching, but that's the easiest way to jump in and grab your crew. You can go out there and find other people on social media that you connect with and all that. That's fine. What I'm saying with all the distractions is you need to understand, everybody needs to understand that there's 3 filters for any of the things that you're seeing with this show, with anything that you're seeing on social media, with anything that you're seeing on the internet, with anything that you're seeing on TV or whatever else. It's either entertainment, education, or instruction.
Right.
When you're building your business, you want to do everything you can to stay in the instruction phase. Who is giving me the actual action items that I can implement into my business? Where am I finding that? That is how you win. That's what I always look for. I am obsessed when I'm in the car. I'm obsessed at night watching YouTube or reading books. I'm obsessed with all these things. And you have to be. Because if you slip into the world of constant entertainment, you will be the average American.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
I agree with that.
Agreed.
I am telling you, if your whole life is built around Netflix shows and movies and video gaming and doing all this stuff, unless you're being loud and getting on Twitch and like doing something with it, you're just being entertained. Those hours can be used building up your business and doing something powerful. And I'm not saying kill yourself. I'm not saying do something that like is going to be like totally outside of your personality, but you need to really focus. What do I really want to be an entrepreneur? Do I really want a successful business? Am I willing to put in the sacrifices that it takes to be able to do that?
And I think
that's what it is.
That's a really big part, the sacrifice. A lot of people don't want it. They don't have the motivation to go out and do this. I mean, especially at a younger age.
A lot of people just aren't taught, though.
That's
you
true.
know, I
Yes.
mean, listen, you grow up, you're put in front of a TV, or you're put in front of an iPad now, you're put in front of something else. It's entertainment, it's quick. Things are designed
Distraction.
to catch our attention.
Right.
I mean, literally, you can look at all the studies on any social media platform, and it is all about the quickness of the way that they send alerts and notifications and the way that they present everything to keep you on there longer. Are you, and listen, I think it's a wonderful tool.
Yep.
And I think it's a wonderful distraction. It depends on what you want to use it for. You know what I mean? You want to use it as a tool and get loud on there and to show everybody and document your journey so that people come and want to be around you because you're a magnet. That's powerful. If you're on there watching everybody else's stories for days and days and days, and you're not posting yourself, or you're not, pulling out the instruction that you get from people that you're following, you're just getting entertainment.
Right.
You're just getting entertainment. That's why people make $50K a year, $60K a year. And they get entertained. This has been happening forever. Society has been built on like, how do you keep people entertained so that they just do their work and then get entertained, and that's it. We're different. Entrepreneurs are different. Albert?
You know, when I went to college, I was a mentor for freshmen coming into college, right? And I told them, I remember this specifically, that I was telling them high school is a bubble. It's a fake bubble. Reality is not like that. When you get to college, it smacks you in the face. And what I've come to realize now is life is the same way. There's people that will conform to what society tells you to, and there's people that pop the bubble and realize there's more to life. And I remember I was in one of my classes, and I challenged this recruiter that came in who was preaching, you got to have a LinkedIn. You got to set this up right. You got to do all this stuff. And I remember I was the only one in this lecture hall that raised my hand and said, well, their LinkedIn is just used to find out who they are. Why can't they just go to my Instagram and just see who I am? And the recruiter specifically told me, if you don't make a LinkedIn, they will never discover you. And I said, if they want to find me, they'll know where to find me. I don't need to advertise myself.
Yeah.
And he said, well, good luck finding a job then. And here I am, sir.
Yeah. Well, listen, you don't want a job.
I don't.
You want to build a business.
Exactly.
That's the difference. That is the true difference. Do you want a job or do you want to build a business? And in the beginning, you are self-employed. Let's see. That's your white belt. That's your yellow belt. That's your whatever comes after a yellow belt. I don't know, but that is your building. What is it?
Blue.
Blue. All right, blue belt. I mean, that is when you're starting. You're on the field. You're taking the snaps. You're on the court. You know what I mean? Whatever analogy you want to use, you're self-employed until you can build a machine to where then you can hire people to be able to take over the different roles that you're doing. Right? I mean, when you were starting, you were doing everything.
I was doing everything. It was, I actually think what I know now, to obviously hindsight's 2020, but to know what I knew when I was 18, it was almost terrifying, like getting into this business because I was just so overwhelmed with everything. Going full time right out of high school, I mean, I could tell you I could completely go a different perspective on this. Being as young as I was, there was no guidance. That was what I think the biggest thing for me was. I thought at a young age, everybody that was older than me knew more.
Right.
Even though the people that I was taking advice from were making 30, 40, 50K a year.
Yeah.
I was fortunate that my dad had his own business and I was able to kind of get a lot of the business insight from him on that.
Sure.
But aside from that, I mean.
What kind of business?
So it's a restaurant repair and HVAC company.
Got it.
And I could actually share a story based on like what was like tough love, but it kind of helped correct my mindset. So when I first started, I mean, every single day I'd come home, my dad's like, did you close the deal today? I'm like, no. Finally, after like 2-3 months, I got my first deal under contract, came home like, got one under contract. And he's like, but did you close it? I'm like, no. I also had a business partner that was a mentor. He basically had me meet him for coffee every single week, 2 to 3 times a week. We had to meet at a coffee shop, but he wouldn't let me order coffee because coffee's for closers.
That's right.
So
school.
talk about some
school.
mindset challenges.
Wow,
But at 18, I mean, that was 18 years old in this industry. I was fed to the wolves.
Yeah.
So I like to make sure I am very big on a disclaimer that like I had people that were basically holding me to the fire saying, you're going to do it or you're going to die. Here you go.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what's
What
else?
were your emotions going through when your dad's telling you these things? And
Yeah.
you're like, you have this pride and you like want to share it with your dad, and your dad keeps going like, wait.
That was actually it was
don't
really
celebrate.
humbling. It was humbling. So
Were you pissed? I'd be pissed if my dad told me
it was
that.
humbling while being pissed.
I'd be
yes.
like, Dad, what are you doing? Like, just
Now,
support me. What
I
do you,
have
you
to
know
give.
what I mean?
I got to give you more information. So
okay.
I came from a family where I was given everything.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of. I came out of high school thinking the world owed me something.
Got
I came
it.
in thinking I was better than the person next to me.
Sure.
I thought because my family had some money, it was my money.
Right.
And then when that happened, that was my first real like kick in the ass of like, you ain't shit, Ryan. What are you gonna do about this?
You have
to go make it. And because I didn't go the route of following the family business, I had no connections in real estate. I had nobody. It was literally, again, fed
Did they
to the
give you
sharks.
some money to start you out?
I was basically living for free in my dad's
their house.
Yeah, and so there was that,
Right.
and then
At
like
18 though.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so then I had like, I wanted to buy some Zillow leads.
And how many houses do you have now?
3.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
23.
Yeah.
But
5 years later.
yeah,
3 properties, doing his own thing, $1 million net worth, incredible business. How much did you guys close this month?
we've got just over 200 coming in the last 2 weeks. So
$200,000
yeah,
in income.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then
Okay.
I don't think that's counting the flips. We've got flips
No,
closing,
still got
which
flips closing.
Albert,
which is
talk
a
about the
whole-
flips. I mean, we got like what?
We got 3 closing here very shortly, and a 4th hitting the market. And that's going to be well over what I was making annually.
I think we're almost. I mean, let's talk some numbers. I think we're at like 150 between them all. 200. That's not
150 to
counting the
200.
wholesale.
Right.
I mean, that's almost $500,000 in like 17, 20 deals on the board.
There you go.
I mean, it starts to get crazy.
Albert, how about you? What about your family?
I was thinking as Ryan was talking, it's the same thing with delayed gratification. I didn't realize my dad taught me this until I'm older, until I am now. But it was the same way. He never was like, oh, good job. Oh, good job. It was, you did this wrong. You did this wrong. And it wasn't until I got into the space where I'm like, oh man, he did not tell me to celebrate the win, because that wasn't the win yet. That wasn't the true win you needed.
Right.
Of course it's like, oh, good job, get a little win, taste of it, but then the real stuff came. You're not done yet though. Yeah. So inadvertently he taught me something, maybe without realizing it, but I'm very grateful to it now. And that's just how I was raised, and then come to it now, it comes full circle. It's the entrepreneurial spirit where don't follow the rules, pop the bubble and see what really is out there.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
I remember it was the first, I want to say 180 days, first 6 months that I had my real estate license. I'm 22 years old. And my best friend, Mike Mahoney, who's been on this our live show a ton and runs my marketing now, his dad was this big entrepreneur. They lived in this big house in Gilbert. Right. I mean, it was huge. And he was like, well, the market's really hot. It's 2006. Why don't you, I'm sorry, it was 2005. Okay. Why don't you put it on the market for $1.3 million in Gilbert, which no property sold for $1.3 million in Gilbert in 2005, and see what we can get.
Okay.
We get a cash offer from a very well-known name in Arizona. And she came from a family that's basically developed half of the West Valley. Anyway, they had a development company, real estate company, very powerful name in real estate. She gave a cash offer at full price. Wow. Okay. Brian, who is Mike's dad, goes, I don't know if we want to take this. I think we need to sweeten the pot a little bit here. And I was like, what are we talking about? They're giving you cash, the full
price,
1.3 million. Like, what else do you want? He goes, I'll tell you what. And we were in their kitchen, and he's like, I'm going to teach you a business lesson today. And I was like, oh, great. He goes, get on the phone right now, call her up, and tell her that we have a deal if they're willing to give Teddy, Mike's mom, a $10,000 gift certificate to Nordstrom. Okay?
Okay.
So I have to call up this
Big
buyer
name,
who's a powerful real estate developer,
Right.
and I have to tell him, yeah, they'll accept your offer if you give them $10,000 gift certificate to Nordstrom. So I'm calling. She is cussing me out.
Right.
I mean, she is livid. She's going bananas. I've got her on speakerphone on like a house line. That's how long ago this was. And she's going, Brian's sitting there and he's just nodding his head and he's like, whatever. And so I hang up and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. I get in my car. I'm driving home. 5 minutes later, she calls. Her whole family's laughing. She goes, I can't believe the ball's in your cellar. Whatever. We'll give him the $10,000. And I called Brian, and Brian just simply said, you don't know unless you ask.
Wow.
You don't know unless you ask for it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Really interesting. And I think that the lesson there is he didn't have to sell that house. He was willing to walk away from the deal. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But he got everything he wanted plus a bonus, and it worked out.
Go.
It's really interesting. Anyway,
Wow.
let's crack this thing open. Guys, this is a live question and answer show. So if you've got questions about getting deals from real estate agents, if you've got questions about getting deals from the MLS, if you've got questions about how to just get a deal, put them in the comments section. If you're getting value out of this, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. And also, if you have some success that you want to share with everybody on here, we want to celebrate you, ring the victory bell here, and support everything that you got going on. So make sure that you're putting all your successes. Make sure that you're putting in your questions. Make sure that you give us your comments. Give us your comments on what you think, when you think is the right time to go full time into this business. 6 months, personal and business expenses in an account, safe, ready. That's your foundation. That's when you go full time, and make sure that you have a track of success. So, a track record of success.
Absolutely.
Good?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So let's start cracking this thing open, and we'll start participating and going back and forth. Brandon asks from IG, Brent, ring the bell. Ryan and I JV'd our first deal together yesterday. I mean,
dude,
we're going to need context here.
So I will have to put myself on a pedestal.
All right.
But, yeah, hang on. Let's get this thing out.
Yeah.
Let's stand
There you go.
So this agent, I think we could name the name, right? Not full
Just
last
give
name.
a first name.
First
Crazy
name.
Kathy.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
she was very, very, very aggressive. Very aggressive.
Okay.
The pedestal I'm putting myself on is that I don't think there's anybody else in this entire state
Yeah.
that would have been able to close this deal the way I did.
Love it.
So we were able to work something out with the Trana brothers. They're phenomenal guys out in this market, and
Yeah.
and they brought us this opportunity, and they already had went and saw the property in person. They were like, I think it just needs full cosmetic. Like, what do you think? And I'm like, I think we can move it. So we ended up going.
Where was it at?
I don't even remember. Scottsdale, Phoenix,
Okay.
something like that.
Yep.
We got this deal basically just on our table. I'm like, okay, what do I have to do? We offered like 362.5. I might be off with the front number. It's like 362.5, and then she ended up playing games, ended up at like 375.
Okay.
She made us go out and see the property again.
Yep.
Then she's like, oh, we miraculously had another offer come in higher, and I'm like,
Great.
Interesting.
Are we playing games here or what? Like what are we doing? I'm like, I showed you proof of funds, past
Yeah.
deals. I had conversation with you. You told me to go out of my way to go see the property.
Yeah.
Now in 2 hour span, you got an offer better than mine.
Yeah.
Next day, she calls our TC, starts insulting her, starts insulting me, and then I get on the phone with her. And I'm
Her
like,
transaction coordinator?
my transaction quarter.
Oh,
She's
okay.
insulting all of us, and I'm like, what the hell is this girl's problem?
Yeah.
She called me back at 4 o'clock that night, and I'm like, oh, I got her. She's just like, well, I'm really disturbed about our conversation. I'm like, you're disturbed? I'm the one that's disturbed. You were insulting me. She's like, this is Ryan Mundy, right? And I'm like, you are out here talking all this shit, but you can't even put together who your buyers are?
Yeah.
And so we ended up getting the commission.
Was
and
there
then,
another Ryan that put in an offer or something?
apparently. Apparently. But it's okay.
That happened to me.
She
That's a
reads the
funny story.
CC&Rs in every deal. It's
Yeah.
good. It's
Yeah.
good.
Okay, good.
So she ended up coming back to us. We got a 10K wholesale. I was able to give 5 of it to the brothers, and then we gave 5 to another dispo, and then we took the commission.
You better ring that, bro.
Let's go. So yeah, we walked away,
Congratulations,
like,
Brandon.
Amazing guys, amazing deal. It's our first of many, and I know these guys are gonna be going pretty far
Yeah.
in this industry, man.
Yeah,
So,
keep squatting up. Keep squatting up with these guys. They're bringing you to the finish line, so that's fantastic. I love it. Congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do deals.
Yeah. Renee.
Do you see over 50 years old as too late? No,
Hell no.
absolutely not.
Never.
No, Renee.
No, you're just getting started. Let's
And
go.
I can't even imagine that you're over 50 based on that picture. Come on. No, absolutely not. Listen, 7 years. If you start taking action consistently and build a business that finds discounted property, 7 years is what it takes to be a millionaire, the net worth millionaire. It could be a lot faster depending on how quickly you build it, but that's the average, is 7 years. So if you're looking at, if you're 18, 25. If you're 50, 57, whatever. What does it matter? You're going to live till you're 90. Like 50 feels young. I mean, I turned 40. I'm like, I feel young. I still feel, you know what I mean? Like, it just depends on how you feel inside, Renee. But no, absolutely not. Don't let that be the thing that stops you.
So when is it too late?
90?
80. Okay. Gotcha. just putting that up.
100.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah,
All
100.
100 put it at 100. You're at halfway, Renee.
You're still insane.
Yeah.
You're still saying you can do it.
Yeah.
All right. From Instagram,
He's also
Mootip.
15 years old.
This guy?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Commented twice the same question.
In skip tracing.
Beautiful.
Which what I would do is I would get the Deal Machine app. It's $50 a month, okay? If you use the TTP code. And then you can drive for dollars or virtually drive for dollars. I have a video on it on this channel. And you find all the ugly properties in your area. And then you use the rest of your budget to get their phone numbers. It's going to cost you 12 to 14 cents for those phone numbers. Now, you could do it free. You could do it to like True People Search or what's the other one? Something Finder.
Yeah.
What's the other?
If
Anyway.
I'm ever going single off, I like Ivy. Ivy already did. I've used that one too.
Sure.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's been verified. That's the
Been
other
verified.
one. Been verified. You can get them free, but I would get quality data. I really would. I'd go to
Yep.
batchskiptracing.com. I'd get the phone numbers and I'd call them. That's the start. You start building up your experience speaking with people about real estate that are in a distressed situation, and you're 15.
Dude, he's 15. I mean, 7 years for him, dude. Come on.
Is this
wow.
the guy from India from yesterday? There was a 16. Well, no, he was 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
From
insane.
India, making calls,
I mean,
getting deals.
Dude,
Different guy,
this is just
okay.
insane. I mean, 15 years old,
Yep.
watching this show. That's like at 15 years old, I was playing video games 24/7.
That's
Like,
yeah,
like
Yeah.
this is
You're getting
incredible.
started early.
incredible.
Incredible.
That's because you were spoiled.
Exactly. All right, there you go.
Comments that I like.
Dale, I love it. So Dale's the best. Dale really puts it in. Dale texts me every single day. Great to see you, Dale. Keep it going. I know that you got some great things cooking up, so congrats. Keep it going. Renee and I can squad up with the 50-year-old over club. There you go, John.
Let's go.
Absolutely. There you go. We've got a whole range. We got from 15 to
Love it.
55. Brian, what's up, Brent? I'm on the dialer right now, my man. I'm about to start posting my batch dialer logs on TTP Cold Calling Mastery Facebook group for accountability. You better.
There you go.
I love it. I love it. Like, for real, that's how you start building momentum and getting other people inspired to do it as well. And other people doing it while you're doing it makes it easier for you to do it. It's collaboration, squatting up.
All right, from Dion, got my first on-market deal.
go.
8K assignment fee, Colorado market, squad up.
You get another one for the
Dude,
on-market.
on market? Let's go. You know.
Congratulations, Dion. That is absolutely fantastic. Now, the only critique that I would give you is add a 0 to that, brother. Let's make that an 80K deal. You know what I'm saying? Let's start pushing. Let's start pushing for some big, massive deals. If you're in Colorado, I mean, just look at the stats in Colorado and the inventory there. Every deal should be a big, big, big deal. But 8K is fantastic. I'll take that
On
every
market.
day of the week. What's the average on market deal?
Out here,
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting about like 15,000 assignment.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah. So keep pushing. Awesome. What's the biggest one on market?
that we've done.
Yeah.
72,
Yeah. There it is. There it is.
71.
Keep it going. Awesome.
It's over 70.
We pop these ones. I have some crazy deals.
Yeah.
Crazy deals right now. Yep. We got one in Buckeye that we bought for $265, and hedge fund just want to put
330.
it under for 380.
Whoa.
Okay. And then we have a deal in Casa Grande where they're just opening up all the factories for 65,000.
Land?
Comps at 250.
Land or single family?
A whole house.
What?
Wow.
3.2.
Oh my God.
65,000.
Wow.
I mean, this might be the biggest deal that we've done. I mean,
Wow.
it could be it could be 150, 160K.
Wholesaling it, or are you guys? Just
I don't know.
Oh, fair enough.
We got to get into it. So interesting situation there. The owner of the property, the owners got divorced. Okay.
Yep.
He was on the loan. She got the house. She had 6 months to get him off the loan to either sell the property or get refinanced or get her own loan. It's been 5 years. She hasn't made a single payment. He's made all the payments.
Oh,
He
man.
took her to court.
He got
The
the
judge
house.
goes, "You get the house."
Of course.
He gets the house.
Of course.
He goes,
Yeah, just
I'll
get rid
sell
of
it for 65K. He finds out at closing she put 15 grand worth of liens on the property.
Oh my God.
So he walked away with like $500 on this thing, paid off her liens, and now we're trying to get a hold of her because we can't make contact. She won't answer. So we probably an eviction process there. But,
Is she living in the house then?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know.
Get her out.
We
of
don't
there.
know.
Get
He
her
thinks
out
so,
of
but who
there.
knows? Yeah. So we'll see.
Crazy story.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
crazy.
help her out. I mean, if she needs some help, we'll help her.
That's crazy to think about for all the young entrepreneurial ages out there. It's I think the Wall Street Journal just did this, but don't quote me on this. But they just did a study on what it takes to be the top 1% or top 5% earner in your state.
Yep.
In here for Arizona, think about this. To be in the top 1% income threshold, you need to bring in $503,000 and some change.
Yep.
Top 5% is $216,000. And if you think about it, if we average here $15,000 per wholesale, you need 34 deals done in a year
Name of the company.
to hit top 1% in Arizona here. So when you really break down the numbers, it's not that hard. 33 deals, you have 52 weeks in a year. How many you're closing? What, one every 2 weeks? Mm-hmm. And you hit top 1%. Mm-hmm. It's really that simple. It's
That's
not
it.
which 9 to 5 do I get?
No. Well, maybe a doctor or an attorney, something like that. Some CEO can do that. But the fact that we make more than surgeons is wild. It's wild.
It's
wild.
We're business owners.
Real estate is incredible. What's your best opening question to break the ice, Mario? I guess it just depends on. Why don't you start with like an agent, and I'll go with direct to seller.
Yeah, so for us to break the ice, you got to remember, when I'm talking directly to real estate agents, I always teach this. Again, the hardest part for being a realtor is finding a client. So when I call, I'm saying I'm an investor and I'm interested in purchasing 123 Main Street. Is it still available? Right then and there, their guard goes down because I'm not going from the approach of being a realtor first. Right. So they understand that there's potential with me possibly having them represent both sides. So for them, it's not even like I need to really break the ice. It's that they're really, if they're like a hungry agent, they're going to be dropping everything to answer whatever question I have. So mine's a little bit different than I'm sure what Brent is going to be, but I just like to come across, kind of knock their guard down by just saying I'm a buyer and then see what they say from there.
Yeah, Mario, it just depends. If you want to really get all of the scripting, go to ttpinsider.com. We've got the TTP script in there. But not sneakily, but it isn't like right in front of your face. The first question is really asking if you have the right person. Right? Hi, I'm looking for Albert. And they go, yes. It's kind of a question, right? So first is making sure that you're talking to the right person and you're going with their first name so that you're already building rapport. You're not asking for Mr. Boy. You're not asking for Mr. Zolin. You're not asking for Mr. Hill or Mrs. Murch, Miss Murch, whatever it is. You know what I mean? You're asking for people's first name. You know what I'm saying? And that's the first, that's truly the icebreaker. And then from there you say, you know what? And then you just hit them between the eyes with it and just say, I know that this call is completely out of the blue, but I was calling about a property that I believe you own on 1212 Banana Street. That's your second question without it being a question. Yeah, what about it? Well, I was actually just calling to see if you would consider an offer on your property there. And then from there, there's only 6 responses they give you. Yes, They do want to sell. No, never. Maybe they do want to sell. How much will you give me? Who are you? And how'd you get my number? That's the only 6 responses that they're going to give you. So if you know how to respond to those 6 responses, you're going to feel more confident on the phone. You got this, Mario. Just start making those. Just start having those conversations.
It's a sick tattoo, also.
Yeah, look at that. Dang. Think that's Mario's tattoo?
Has to be.
Has to be, right?
Has to.
Maybe he's just a fan of that tattoo artist. I don't know. Mario, let us know if that's your actual tattoo and if that looks like a shoulder, huh?
Yes.
That's
arm.
not a thigh.
It's an arm.
Yeah.
Total arm.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go. Thomas, recently was laid off from my job. I have 6 months of reserves. How many hours a day should I be doing daily? What tasks should I be completing daily? Awesome.
Man.
So on this channel, we have a complete breakdown of the perfect daily schedule. Check that out. But the more time, here we go. Perfect.
There we go.
Here we go right here. Boom, the perfect schedule for full time, because now you can go full time. You got the reserves. Let's get going. Practice and role play. This just warms up your brain, because listen, we wake up, we have breakfast, we exercise, we meditate, we do whatever, we get the kids off to school, and then we gotta all of a sudden focus our brain back to being a real estate professional. So take that 30 minutes to warm it up a little bit. Go through your scripts, go through any of the leads that you're gonna call that day, go through any objections that you're kind of stumbling with, and come up with 2 answers for any kind of objections that you have. And then 9 to noon, baby, you're lead generating. You're getting it done. That's the engine of your business. The rest of your day, your week, your month, your year is going to be based off of your lead generation. Have a quick little lunch. Nobody needs to spend an hour at lunch. If it takes you an hour to eat food, eat faster. All right? And then from there, doing your lead follow-up, and then you can do your additional lead follow-up, driving for dollars, seller appointments, and cash buyer negotiations.
Absolutely.
And if you have flips that in the afternoon, that's when you go and visit those flips and check out everything that's going on. But that is the perfect daily schedule. There you go. And listen, I don't care what business you're in. You got to prospect. You got to be proactive. So set it aside. But obviously for real estate, that's what you want to do. There you go, Thomas.
Right. From Laura. I have a contract that was supposed to be signed today. Seller's agent texted to tell me he won't sign because he thinks the termination section means he will be sued if he terminates. What can I do? Termination section thinks, what? Man.
Yeah, Laura, I'm not sure what the termination section is. I don't know which contract are you using?
Yeah.
And if it's an agent, they probably will want you to use the realtor contract in their market, which
unless she's referring to an inspection period, but that wouldn't be termination. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, need some more info on that one, Laura.
And I don't know if Anyway, tell us where you're at, Laura.
Yeah, give us a little more insight. All right, from Terry on Instagram. Do you guys have any knowledge of the upstate New York market?
Yes.
I do not.
Yes. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Terry, you have a perfect blend. Plenty of cash buyers, older properties, and a great price point. I mean,
what's the average price point?
Go crazy. I mean, it depends on the area, but you're in between 3 and 5.
Okay.
3 and 500,000. You know what I mean?
That.
I mean, there's some great. I mean, there's some markets that are a little lower, but for the most part, you're dealing with good, strong markets there.
I love it.
Yep. There you go.
Oh boy. The Real Honest Investor. What's up, Peter? How many agents does Ryan have working with him on a consistent basis now? So if you're referring to the team, it's myself, Amber, Albert, Tanner, Kyle, other Kyle. What else am I missing?
Who's other Kyle? I would hate to be other Kyle.
I'm not going to describe which Kyle's which Kyle. So I mean, they can figure that out. They can figure that out. So 6 agents on the team. As for agents in my sphere, I mean, I'm over 1,500 at this point. So yeah, I would say out of my 1,500, though, I really do deals consistently with about 5 to 10 of them. So do the math on that.
We had 2 Jens in the office. Yeah. We called one of them J2.
J2.
So maybe you could do a K2.
OGB. OGB.
K2.
Yeah.
K2 is like the second biggest mountain in the world?
Yeah.
Look it up.
We know a bunch of brands, so shout out to Brandon.
How many agents are you working with on a consistent basis to give you leads?
5 to 10, honestly.
To give you leads.
To give me leads, 50, but to actually do deals with them, 5 to 10.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. A lot of great questions coming in
do
hot,
it.
huh?
Boom.
I love it. Thanks for doing this, guys. Raul says, thanks for doing this, guys. Quick question. Who would be your first hire if you're trying to scale?
It's a fantastic question.
That's good.
You want to take first or me?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it just, when you're starting out, everything has to be lead generation, okay? So the first hire would probably be a phone prospector to do it in conjunction with yourself until you build out a team. That's what I would do. I would get as many people bringing in leads at the top of the funnel as possible. So it would be a phone prospector that I would hire after you've already built up enough momentum yourself. Now, this doesn't give you the excuse to pull yourself completely out of making calls right away. But as you start building out those phone prospecting teams, just remember that you're going to have to hire 4 people to replace you. That's the stats, right?
Wow.
You're going to get 1 deal out of 200 conversations. A phone prospector will be 1 out of 800. Okay, so you need more volume. You need a bigger budget. You need to make sure that you have that in your savings to at least do it for 90 days, if not preferably 6 months worth of reserves to make that hire. But that's going to really help you out. Either that or a full-time text blaster. Okay. Yeah, full-time text blaster that can send out 1,000 texts a day. That's still legit. And you get all those leads. They send it to you, and then you're doing the lead follow-up. You just got to make sure that you're training them to send you in the best opportunities.
And I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach.
Yep.
So I actually think going agent outreach and working with like MLS deals, the first hire that I would make would be a transaction coordinator.
Love it.
So for me, Brent hit it right on the head. I wouldn't want to take myself out of the acquisition side. And I think that a lot of people, when they hire that type of position first, they take themselves out because they're on to doing TC work or dispo or the bigger, better things. If you could really focus on continuously doing acquisitions while having a TC manage the files, the whole goal is the TC is going to be too busy handling all your escrows, which allows you to then go and have more time to do acquisitions.
Now, will you put a little runner on the bottom with constant close? Rochelle,
Absolutely.
who's, partnered with Templeton.
Yep.
It's
phenomenal.
Nobody's even close.
Yeah.
So
phenomenal.
It's a built-in transaction coordination company.
Right.
You pay them $400. I think it's $400 with the discount, the TTP discount. So it's $500 without it. $400 a deal up front. So make sure that you have a deal, but you get to focus on the actual income-producing activities in your business, which is lead generation and conversion and dispo, and not having to worry about what's going on with the title and what's going on with postponing foreclosures and what's going on with all these other little details. They take that completely off your plate. A constant close. I'm just telling you, I've been having conversations over the last couple days. I've been going through some tricky deals with Rochelle, and she is on top of it. She answers her phone. She answers her text. She's got a whole team that has that culture. It's incredible. So what I would do is I would probably, look for something like that until you're doing 5, 10, 15 deals a month that you would want somebody in-house to be your transaction coordinator. If you're just doing a few deals a month, I would use constant close.
For sure.
Yep. Great question. Caitlin, any help on how much money I should save for taxes, or can they take taxes out?
30%.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we're not CPAs, and so I have my accountant deal with all of that, right? Just remember that when you set up a company, you get to earn income, have expenses, and then get taxed on what's left over.
Yep.
As opposed to an employee where you get taxed before you even see it and then you can spend it. Right. So there's a huge advantage to having your LLC set up.
Yes.
Yep.
What percentage do you think? Like 30?
Yeah. I mean, 30's high, I think, for most, but it's better to put some aside and not have to,
I put mine into
payments.
A separate bank account. I'm like, this is the focus.
Yep.
It's for Mr. Uncle Sammy.
There you go. Edgar.
All right. Amigos, I've been watching you guys for a long time, but I'm having a hard time overcoming fear, procrastination, or whatever. Do you believe joining the TTP team would help?
Well, That's really a question for you, Edgar. You know, I think that if you're looking for the pure instruction and the community and support calls every day, if that would help you, absolutely. Does it help other people? Absolutely. Does that mean that you're going to go and take the action? No. That's all up to you.
Right.
That's all up to you. But when you're around people that don't have fear, don't procrastinate, then you become like those people. So you are the people that you surround yourself with, right?
100%.
So yeah, look into it for sure. ttpcall.com, ttpcall.com for to talk to a member of my team and see if it's the right fit to join the coaching program. But nobody has coached more successful wholesalers. I'm just telling you. Life of a dreamer.
All right. I have $5K and I want to know the best way to use this money to start wholesaling virtually. How do I go about that? That's a good question. So for me, I'm kind of just going to reiterate what Brent said earlier. I'd recommend investing into a list, whether it is sellers or agents. I mean, for me, what was the website you always talk about for agents to go get their information?
That is Dr. Bill's real estate agent list.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the URL for that?
It's crazy. Just
Okay.
Google it.
Okay, Dr.
Because
Bill's
he's
real
got
estate
like
agent list.
slashes in it.
Gotcha,
He's got
gotcha,
like
yeah.
hyphens. It's bananas. It's like real-estate-agent-list-
Of course.
nationwide, whatever. I have no idea.
It's legit.
No, it's
Put it
great
there.
data. It's just
yeah.
a silly old school website, but it's
Yeah.
Dr. Bill's real estate agent list.
So I like that, and then I'd invest into a dialer, get on the phones, talk to people, talk to agents, TTA, talk to agents.
Talk to agents. They're still people, bro. They're still, you know.
Talk to agents.
Yeah.
And then from there, basically just tell them you're a buyer looking for deals and watch what happens from there rather than spending all this money and texting all the systems, people, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just find a list and start making the calls. That's your budget. Keep your budget low. I don't want you spending all that budget.
Exactly.
But if you've got $5,000, then you need to be proactive. You need to either be sending texts or making calls. That's it. Sending texts or making calls. And I would look at Batch Dialer and I would look at batchleads.io for the texting.
Yep.
That's who we use. Guys, anything that we put in these little runners here, any of the affiliates, any of the people that I've talked to and gotten discounts for our audience are all companies that I use. This is not theory-based. This is proof-based. So these are facts. Those are the best tools. Batch Dialer for calls, Batch Leads for texting.
There you go.
Yep.
From Aaron. I'm looking to add cold calling to my marketing campaign. How long does it take to do 200 dials or calls per day?
Well, remember, if you're going with that 200, Aaron, it's 200 contacts, which means you're typically going to have to make 2,000 to 3,000 calls for that amount of contacts because it's 7 to 10% contact rate. So when I say 200 contacts, that's you actually speaking to the owner. I think I just whistled there. Anyway, that was wild. Anyway, so what I'll tell you is you can make 150 calls an hour typically on a dialer. So that might seem very overwhelming, but it takes about 20 hours of calls per deal is the average. It's just the thing that stops people, Aaron, is it takes 90 days to get paid. It takes 90 days. The first time you talk to somebody, it typically takes about 90 days before that transaction's completed. And can you mentally survive that 90 days? I believe you can, but that's the thing that you have to watch out for. That's the thing that you have to make sure that you're not slipping. That's why you have to subscribe to the channel and get the content every day. Get that boost every single day. That's why you got to squat up with people doing this business and be around it every day. If it's just you on an island by yourself in your house making calls, it gets lonely. It gets tough. It gets difficult.
Draining.
It gets hard.
Yep.
So get around people that are doing this and participate like you're doing. You know, really get get the whatever it is, inspiration, motivation, juice, energy, enthusiasm out of this channel so that you can implement it into your business.
From IG, and it's from Yvonne. Would it be a good idea to hire a part-time VA to help me cold call? I have a full-time and can afford someone part-time. Would it be worth spending extra money? I would say it depends on what you're struggling with in your business. If you've got someone full-time and they're crushing it and you would like to add some...
she's full-time.
She's full-time. Okay.
She's got a full-time job.
Okay, she has a full-time. I understand now.
And can afford a part-time.
So, I don't know. What's your answer on that one?
Here's what I'll say.
Bless you.
You need to make the calls yourself as well.
Right.
And listen, I don't care if it's an hour a week, but you need to put it in because you are going to understand which lists are better in your market. All right. Here is the perfect part-time schedule for you, Yvonne. I know this wasn't your question, but I'm going to give you this. I'm going to slide this in there. You need to find 20 hours. If you've got a full-time job, you got to find 20 hours in your schedule. And this is the breakdown: 15 hours lead generation, 1 hour practice and role play, 1 hour lead follow-up, 1 hour driving for dollars, and 2 hours appointments. So there you go. So that is the perfect part-time schedule. But if you are going to do it part-time, I would play around, Yvonne. If you've got the budget, I would do both a phone prospector and a text blaster, and make sure you have at least a 90-day budget for those, and rock and roll.
Yeah, I always have a hard time with that kind of answer, just because I see most of the time when people, and I'm not saying this is Yvonne, I'm just saying most of the time people, when they want to do that, it's because they don't want to make the calls themselves, or they think it's going to be the hack to get the deal quicker.
Right.
So
you're going to get to the deal faster.
Yeah.
But if you've got the income and you've got the budget and you're able to do it, and you will be relentless with your lead follow-up from those leads. Yeah. I mean, the rule of thumb is make $30,000 a month for 3 straight months before you hire anybody. But if you're part-time and you need to be able to get that engine going, you have the flexibility to follow up on those leads when they come in. That's cool.
Good stuff.
Is your phone just going bananas right now?
Always.
That's why I can't do those Apple Watches.
Yeah?
Oh, no. No. I get 90 to 100 texts a day from T2B coaching students.
Really? No, it's like Albert and talking to our partners on flips and, all good stuff.
I wouldn't have a thought in my head if it was every, I had one and
going off.
It went crazy and then I broke it. So, Jay, I always get nervous when talking on the phone. How can somebody overcome that? That is fantastic.
Awesome.
Do we have...
Get those reps.
Do we have the 7 steps to being more confident on the phone that we did last week? Let's put that up for Jay, because I think that'd be real helpful. Alejandro put it together for us. There it is. Here you go, Jay. I'm going to break this down, and this is for everybody. Number 1, remember, you have a vocal first impression. This is like one of those things that in your mind,
right,
but you don't really, no one really talks about it. And they've done study after study after study, and they have seen people that have a confident tone, people that have a soft tone, people have an aggressive tone. The best is happy energy.
Second,
it has to be layered with optimism.
Number 2 is don't get on social media or email before or while on the phone.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because you're going to see something you don't like.
Okay.
You are going to see something that is going to affect your mindset.
And by that, you mean comparison, or you mean just news, or what are you referring to?
All of it.
All of the above.
All of it.
Distractions.
You're going to see some dude that you went to high school with tell you all the reasons why Joe Biden is a lizard person or something.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
or why, this or that, or,
Yeah.
somebody's going to put something political or something.
Okay.
Somebody's going to put something sad, or
Distractions.
something's
Just
going to put
distractions.
something that's exciting and take you down a rabbit hole, and now you're focusing on something else and not focusing on calls. Third is you need to have that optimism. You need to understand that somebody needs $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 worth of your help today, and you're going to find them. Optimism.
I like that. Speaking it into existence. I mean, it's
Yep.
awesome. Number 4 is stand up, and I'm assuming you mean physically
Yep.
stand up.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It increases your energy.
Yep.
Your energy comes in your vocal first impressions.
Yep.
The first 5 seconds you have on the phone with somebody gets you the next 30 seconds
Okay.
on a cold call.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, if you know them, it should get you longer than that.
Right.
But stand up and smile. People can see, people can feel a smile on the phone. Get people to laugh. Laugh yourself. Like that is when you know that you're confident. If somebody is laughing on the phone and they're not just being silly willy, then you know that they're confident. Yeah, silly willy.
Silly Willy.
You know silly willy.
Number 6 is active listening. So I like that one. I like that you're all about just obviously listening to them, listening to their tone of voice, what their situation is, and then from there you can obviously respond more accordingly.
Yeah, if you are silent when you ask a question, it sounds like an interrogation. It does. It's not a conversation. Nod your head. Uh-huh. Sure. That makes sense. Great. Yep. Oh, not a problem. Sure. Mm-hmm. 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 Those things, as you're talking, make you more confident on the phone. Number 7 is lights on. Open up your blinds. Open up the windows. If it's cloudy where you live, if it's overcast where you live, turn on all the lights. Turn them on. Get that energy. Light gives us energy. That's how our brain works.
Bring it in.
For real. What is it, the circadian rhythm, right?
Yes.
Is that it?
I can go on about that.
Yes.
Well, go on about
Let's
it.
do it.
I don't know if I talked about it on this show yet. I bought an
No.
alarm clock for that.
Oh
Okay.
God. You know, really fast. He needs an affiliate code. Jeff Bezos, if you're listening,
No,
like,
What is it?
This is right. If the circadian rhythm, right? So it's hard to get up early in the morning because you have a harsh wake up from your phone alarm just going off, and then it's dark in the wintertime, so it's harder to wake up. We like to wake up with the sun as humans naturally. So this alarm clock, set it at the time you want. It slowly gets brighter and brighter to mimic the sun coming up, and your circadian rhythm starts adjusting. Your body thinks, oh, it's daylight, I should get up, and it's like a slow, gradual wake up instead of a deep sleep, and then boom, harsh wake up. But I love it. I'm
What
with
is
you
it?
100%.
This is like a device?
It's a device. It was $40-some on Amazon.
What's
and
it called?
I searched Sunrise Alarm Clock.
Sunrise alarm. Can we pop that up at some point, Matt?
code
It's-
buoy.
It was the best thing I have ever bought because it gets you up and it gets you so refreshed for the day. And honestly, like the early times, I've never felt more awake.
He's been talking about this alarm clock for the past like 2 weeks. Okay.
Oh, it's on TikTok. There you go.
And there you go.
But listen, when the lights are on, you're gonna have
You feel
energy.
it.
That's how
Feel
we're.
it.
That's how we're built. We
So
are
funny.
not nocturnal animals. I mean, some of us claim to be, but
Right.
yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
Is that it, Albert?
Yeah, the second one.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's the best.
There you
it's
go.
so bright.
Albert, what's your code?
I
Just
wish.
kidding.
Listen, I just want people to have good energy
That's
when they
it.
wake up,
Yeah,
get ready
that's
for
it.
calls.
Absolutely.
I don't need anything from it. Just bring some deals in and we can celebrate you on the channel.
There we go.
awesome.
From Dustin, Brent and Ryan, how many markets should I start in if I'm going virtual? I'm in Oklahoma. Also, what software should I start with besides Batch? I think that's a really good question. So markets wise, I'm always going to tell you like just pick one and really get good at it. I don't know if you've got a different answer on that, but
Yeah, I mean, you can Google where people are moving to. Where are the biggest economic booms?
would you recommend like multiple markets? I feel like it's very easy to get distracted like when you're trying to like learn markets virtually and
That's it. It is a distraction because one, you need to understand values. Two, you need to be able to build your cash buyer database.
right. I feel like just too many things to be going
yeah.
in multiple markets.
The only thing, Dustin, what I would say is if you have the budget, I would look into Investor Lift. That will get you the cash buyers in those markets. And if it's too much, whatever market you have, Jeremy at Offer Arizona is my dispo guy. We bought their big boy version of Investor Lift, so we've got cash buyers in the whole country, and we can help you out with that. So Jeremy at Offer, will you put that up, Matt? Jeremy at Offer Arizona. But anyway, what I would say, Dustin, is look at where there is really
Boom.
good economic growth.
Yes.
Because that's where the cash buyers are going. Also, I would look at non-judicial states.
What does that mean?
So if you have to foreclose on a property in a judicial state, it takes a lot longer and it costs you a lot more, which is fine. But if you're a private money lender and you're lending on properties, there's more private money in better terms in. Not better terms, but you can make your money flow faster in non-judicial states because you can foreclose faster.
Gotcha.
And get your money back. So there is a difference between judicial and non-judicial.
Do you
states.
just Google that to figure out which states? Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure we're breaking it down for everybody.
Yep. Awesome. Cute kid.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Got distracted. He's a kid.
And too many markets over there.
Yeah.
All right. From Jay, what's the best way to find the best zip codes to market to? So I like to personally reach out to title companies, and they will give you the information as long as you're obviously bringing value to them, whether it's deals or opportunity or promise of bringing them deals. And a lot of times they've got a marketing rep or they've got somebody that can pull the information that will show you a certain percentage of growth or a certain percentage of people that are leaving in specific zip codes and neighborhoods. So that's how we kind of mess around with that information and data, and it seems to be working pretty well for us.
Yeah, I wouldn't overthink this, Jay. There's a lack of inventory throughout the whole country.
Right.
People need deals. Go after whatever zip code you want to and go crazy. Just do me a favor, Jay. Just tell me what market you're in. Tell me where you live, and I'll let you know. If you need help, guys, selling your deals, and they are actual deals because Jeremy will vet them and let you know. He's brutally honest. In a nice way. I mean, he's not brutal, but he's honest. So he's just honest. Whatever. Jeremy at offerarizona.com. That's like saying, hey, trust me. That's like the worst pitch of all time. Sorry. If you want to get your deals sold, they're real deals, Jeremy. There you go.
Jeremy. There you go.
There you go. Ginza Expressway says, what's the best way to decide what to do with a home that is split up into 3 units and 1 unit is a garage apartment and tenant occupied, wholesale or BRRRR method?
Man, there's a lot to unpack. The 3 units and 1 unit is a garage. I want to know, is it zoned for multifamily or commercial? What is the tenant occupied? How long are they in there? Is it a value add? Personally, I would always say go and wholesale, make the quick buck, and then move on to the next deal. But if this was in a location where you're trying to build a portfolio or establish yourself and you've got some money or relationships with private money and lenders, then the BRRRR method is a great option. You just have to make sure, obviously, the numbers work to where if you do the BRRRR correctly, when you refinance, you'll be able to pull enough money out so you get it.
Yeah, what are you working on? Are you working on building up your bank account with a bunch of cash, or are you working on building your long-term wealth? Because it's 2 totally different things.
Yep.
Wholesale it if you need the cash, if you want that cash, if you're replacing your income, if you're paying off debts, if you just want to have a nice nest egg in there, then wholesale them. If it's BRRRR, I mean, if you're looking to add and you're in a nice financial position, you just want to build up your portfolio so that you can get out of your job in 10, 15, 20 years, great, BRRRR it.
Good stuff.
Yep. And make sure that it's zoned for 3 units.
That's exactly what I started with. I'm like,
because it's tougher to sell.
We had one yesterday where a guy on the team brought it to me and he's like, oh, it's 3 units and it was a single family home. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, that's not zoned at all for that. Like that's a house that has walls put in it. Right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't it wasn't zoned or anything. And it also didn't have any permits for it. So it was just, It's
actually very easy to build a wall.
Yeah.
It's just some 2x4s, some drywall, and some
some paint,
some texture, some baseboards maybe, but that doesn't make it a multifamily. Look at that hat, Jerry. Looking
nice.
good. You know it. Good question, Jerry. You just plated it up for this guy.
Love it.
Go ahead.
Will you or Ryan be doing any meetups in February? Yes. So the first Tuesday of every month, we host a meetup. It's the Ryan Zolin meetup, and it's actually going to be next Tuesday. So February 1st in Tempe, same location as last. El Jefe's Tacos and Sushi off of 101 and University.
Yep, 101 University.
And it's going to be from 5 to 9, but we ended up staying last time till about 11 o'clock at night.
Holy
so,
cow.
I mean, you guys got me for 6 hours. I'm an open book. We've got a couple of guest speakers, Jem Montero, who went from 9 to 5 last year to Millionaire, partnered with Templeton, and then also Cole Rep, who started off as a videographer where his dad was basically on Templeton's team, went from being a videographer to being around these guys. He wholesaled some deals, to now he's partnered with Templeton on a traditional business where they focus primarily on luxury deals. So both of these guys have blown up in less than a year in the industry. Their story is incredible, and I'm super, super excited for you guys all to listen and be able to share it. So,
how do they get more information?
it's going to be on my Instagram and Albert's Instagram. It's at Ryan Zolin and at
Albert Bowie. What is yours?
Albert Bowie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll put it down here.
We always post on our Instagram stories. I've got a few posts on my page, and then we're gonna be just blowing this thing up. We shut down the restaurant last time, had over 330 people show up, so this one's gonna be it's gonna be a crazy one.
Awesome.
All good stuff, and the food was phenomenal. Like, I cannot get over that.
Really?
Phenomenal.
Tacos
Sushi was
are so
phenomenal.
good.
Tacos were phenomenal. It was just,
Sushi and tacos.
Yeah.
Sushi tacos.
don't judge a book by its cover.
Not
I'll
together.
tell you what. Sounds exciting to me. All right. There you go. There you go. Follow them on Instagram there, guys, and make sure that if you are anywhere close to Phoenix, you need to go to that meetup.
Yep.
For real.
We got Brent coming next month.
That's right. Let's see what's going on. Is wholesaling legal in California? If so, what steps do I need to take? Absolutely. It is legal everywhere. Let's get that right. Now, some states require a license, but finding discounted properties is the name of the game. It's been going on since the beginning of real estate. So, yes, absolutely, Anthony. And what steps do you need to take? You need to very simply, just depending on your budget, but just very simply, drive around, find the ugliest properties in your market, go to Batch, Skip, Trace, and get their phone numbers, and call them up and ask them if they'll consider an offer.
There you go.
For real. That's
You make it sound so easy, Brent.
It
is that easy, though.
That's exactly how I got my first 20 deals. That's exactly how I got pulled out of a huge hole with a over $700,000 judgment that I had for an office lease that I did not pay during the downturn. And I had the worst credit score. I had such a bad credit score, I couldn't get a checking account at Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or Chase. That's how bad it was. I had to go online to find some, like, you just screwed up your whole life debit card where you had to send in $500 just for them to put away. It wasn't even in your account. You had to put it with this company for them to give you a debit card to be able to use a Visa. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
That
Brent.
was 2010. Okay? Like, I'm telling you, you stay focused, you find the ugly properties, you find the opportunities, you can change anything around. If you're starting at zero, you are so much further ahead than I was at that point. You know what I mean? But listen, that pressure, the whole saying, pressure creates diamonds, or, rock bottom is the strongest foundation. Truth.
Right.
Truth. I'm telling you, you can go out, find ugly houses, have a conversation, change your life. Change your life. It's changed so many people's lives, and you're looking at one of them. There you go.
Super inspirational.
Yeah, couldn't get a checking account.
That's insane.
Isn't
I've
that
never heard of
bananas?
that.
And now,
That's
now,
crazy.
and now
Everything
look
was
at you.
cash and everything.
That's insane.
Yeah, now they send me all sorts of different deals in the mail.
Same.
For this credit
Here's an
card, you
offer.
could get.
Here's an offer.
But I'll tell you what, there is something to be said, and I will scream this from the rooftops. If you get somebody that knows what they're doing on credit repair, holy cow. They got me from, like, whatever the lowest is. I think I was like at a 410 or something, back up to like into the 600s in like 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Yeah. But it took that was because some of the stuff fell off. It had been a while. I had ducked my head in the sand when it came to debt for a while. Credit cards, car loans, all that stuff. But got it all cleared up, and it was fantastic. Now I'm like super premium credit. Boom!
Top.
Cordero. I usually do most of my new lead generation from 2 to 6, as I found that more people answer in the afternoon. Okay. And I do lead follow-up in the mornings. Should I switch around? Sure. Absolutely, brother. Yeah. I mean, if that's what you're finding in your market, absolutely. The reason I did it in the morning, Cordero, is because if I didn't do it in the morning, it wasn't getting done. It just wouldn't get done. There was too many distractions in the afternoon, too many things going on in the afternoon. Everybody's kind of buzzing. I found that from 9 to noon, it was pretty pretty easy for me to be consistent. So whenever you can be consistent is the best time for you to make calls. That's the answer. I get that question a lot. When's the best time for lead generation? When you can be consistent.
Right.
There you go.
From Anthony. How is the market in Hawaii for wholesale and creative financing deals? What types of properties should I be going after? So I personally haven't done a deal in Hawaii yet, but I've got a few friends that do well in wholesale. I don't think I know anybody doing creative finance deals in Hawaii, but I'm assuming if you could do wholesale, I'm sure you could do the creative finance. So do you know anyone out in Hawaii?
Yeah, Hawaii's an interesting market.
Okay.
You know,
is there like a specific island better than one, or are they all kind of like the same?
most of them are on the Big Island.
Okay.
And just because there's more properties there, and that's a good market, and it's the same approach. You know, if you have enough quality conversations, you win.
For sure.
So I wouldn't let that stop you. I know that RJ Bates has done a lot of business in Hawaii and done a great job, and he has a great show where he calls people in Hawaii and all across the country live. So definitely check that out. I think he's on Batch, the Batch TV. Is it Batch TV?
That sounds right.
Right? Yeah. So he does that. So that's phenomenal. But listen, I would watch where you're at in the price points. I mean, Hawaii gets real crazy, just like a Manhattan, just like a San Francisco, just like a
those beach homes, man.
You know, a Malibu or something like that. But I would probably go towards the lower side of that, and then just make sure that you're building up your cash buyer database.
Would you
and I would look at international buyers even for that as well.
Would you ever buy a house in Hawaii?
I've looked at houses in Hawaii. The issue with buying a house in Hawaii, there's a couple different. One, you would think that it would be great to do as an Airbnb when you're not there.
Yep.
I love Kauai. We go once a year. It's a 6-hour flight directly from Phoenix there, so it makes sense.
Yep.
But they only give a certain amount of licenses for Airbnbs.
Gotcha.
So, and those have been wrapped up for a while. Okay. And the locals really hate that. And yeah, I think if you're going to buy it just for long-term appreciation, you're always going to win.
For sure.
If you're trying to get cash flow out of Hawaii from an Airbnb, it's better to buy a property that already has that license in place. And usually they charge a lot lot
That's interesting.
I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot
of
that
moving
goes into
pieces.
Yep. But for appreciation, phenomenal opportunity. I mean, I don't even think that they had any downturn in 2008. I think it just kept going.
Are you kidding me? Because I feel like with anything, even though COVID restrictions got crazy, more people just wanted to get the hell away from everything, so they went out to Hawaii.
Every time you go to Hawaii, you think, I need to buy something in Hawaii.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like one of those places. But maybe someday. We'll see. What?
Sorry, I'm just looking at the cost of living in Hawaii right now.
What's the cost of living in Hawaii?
So you know how you talked about the money to happiness ratio?
Yes.
Like 75, 85?
Yep.
In Hawaii, it's 122,000.
122,000 to live in Hawaii.
For what ratio?
Comfortably.
For cost of living.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Thomas, why are the contacts higher for VA that is phone prospecting than yourself? Is it because they don't have the sales skills? Yeah. It's not contacts higher. It's the amount of deals you get out of those contacts. Thomas, there's one reason. You get all the benefit from the deals. They get 10, 20 bucks an hour. That's it.
If that.
When you find somebody, Thomas, that wants to sell, that's telling you yes, that's giving you all those signals, and that bulb's going off in your head, you're going to sink your teeth into that deal. When a VA sends it over to you, then you have to reestablish the conversation, reestablish the relationship, and you have to go and dig through and see what the true motivation is. When you do it initially and it's you are more successful at that.
Yep.
It's just what it is.
And I mean, I also think just the conversion rate of VAs in general are much lower.
Well, listen, it just depends on how much experience they have, what sales skills that they have, are they able to really pull it out? It's there's phenomenal people that all across the world that are making calls. It's really just their experience level and their ability to filter out and pre-qualify.
Get it?
There you go.
Ooh, Cordero's back. Hiring someone to do transaction for you to focus on acquisition just blew my mind. Can you make an entire video on that? That will really change the game. Yep. So I think he's referring to the transaction coordination. Yep. I think Brent actually brought a really good arm to what my point was. Like if you're only doing 1 to 3 a month, you really don't need a TC. What I'm talking about.
Is Rochelle here?
I don't know.
Does she live in Arizona?
Arizona, yeah.
I'm going to get her on the show, Cordero. I will get her on the show, and we will break that all down for you, brother. For sure.
Yeah, because
great idea.
I think when you get to that certain point of I think you hit it right on the head again. 5 plus a month. At that point, the reason I like to do it psychologically is just because you basically put yourself where you're still responsible for acquisitions.
Yep.
I think when you put somebody else in acquisitions, you take your foot off the gas some way, shape, or form because you're trying to venture off to something else. I don't like taking my foot off the gas. I want people to learn by what I'm doing and see that I'm leading by example, and then basically just continuously pushing acquisitions.
Yep.
So,
yeah, let people let people service the deal.
Right.
You go find the deal.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Love it. We'll do it, Cordero, for sure. Awesome, Chris. When a seller demands, what is your offer on a cold call, do you find that those sellers are still willing to work with us, have been running into this, and the conversation usually doesn't end well? Yeah, it's mostly, 90% they're going to be way more, but there's always those people that are really just curious. Some people just don't know. So I think the way that it's delivered, Chris, will give you the indication, and you know this if you're having these conversations. If they go, well, how much are you going to give me? Versus, well, what's it worth? Or how much are you offering?
Right.
Or something like that. There's a big difference there. And the way that people respond to that and the tone that they use will determine what kind of personality style they are. Typically, somebody that's more of a driver personality is going to come straight at you, and drivers think that everything they do is gold and everything's great and everything that they have is worth more than it is.
Yep.
It's just a wonderful,
super fun time.
Wonderful little ego thing. So if they're coming at you aggressive, hit them with a quick 66% of Zillow or 50 or 25% depending on the price point. Will you put up that little thing, Matt? The breakdown of what to just throw out as a general offer based on the price point. We'll get that. We'll get you that, Chris, and then just hit them with it, and usually that disqualifies them pretty fast. And the way that you do that is, well, listen, I don't have enough information to give you like a solid offer. I'm looking at the comparables, and your neighbors in similar condition is selling for this price.
Yeah, and I always like to give a range too, because then they try to give you exactly what you said, the driver persona. They're going to give you their justification as to why their price point is always higher. I always use the example where the reason I don't like doing traditional real estate is that Sally, the seller, always thinks, oh my gosh, well, this house is so much bigger, but mine's worth more because of X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
So
there you go.
Give them a range.
Boom.
There you go.
250,000 or more, 66%. Between that 249,999 and 100,000, 50% under 100,000, 25%.
Yep.
I like that purple, Hondra. It's nice. It's very nice. There you go. Awesome. Got about 13 minutes left here. Man, this show went fast. This has been action-packed.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Chuck, here in Atlanta, there's only a 30-day pre-foreclosure notice for auction. Any tips to postpone auction without paying back pays? Buy us some more time.
Well,
do you deal with this?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, Chuck, here's the deal. One, you can reach out to whoever's doing the auction and get it postponed. Let them know that you have a purchase agreement, and they will postpone it. The other thing is, I would highly suggest if you're in that situation, Chuck, and you know that it's a deal and they're committing to the deal, Rochelle will get that postponed. Rochelle does a phenomenal job, constant close.
Do they always do that though? Where they'll get it postponed if you have a purchase contract? Because I've seen in some instances where if you've submitted it, they're like, if it doesn't have hard earnest in, or if it doesn't have this term or this close date specifically.
We've never had a problem.
Okay.
I've never heard of a problem in Atlanta.
Okay.
So I would just I would have somebody do that work for you so you can focus on getting other deals closed, honestly.
Right.
Make sure that it's a deal. Make sure that you're getting it at the right price. Make sure that these sellers are ready to move forward with the sale. and then get Rochelle in there, and then or just call them up. Just find out who's doing the auction and ask them. I've got a contract on this. How do I get the auction postponed?
Gotcha.
You could do that work, but if you don't want to do the work, constant.
At
close.
what point is it too late with the foreclosure coming up? Because I had one sent to me yesterday where the foreclosure was today.
I postponed it that same day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Listen, the banks do not want to foreclose.
Right. Well, yeah, I know they don't.
The banks don't. The trustees are typically, or whoever's in charge of doing the foreclosure is typically instructed, if there's a reason to postpone it. And listen, most of these foreclosures get postponed anyway because the courts are still catching up and still trying to figure everything out.
Gotcha.
Post the forbearance and post the whatever pandemic. JC Wholesale. Hey, Brent, English is not my first language, so I have an accent. Will that affect my calls with the seller, or should I target agents better? Well, listen, JC, I'll tell you this. I have, I think, 13 students in Israel that make calls every day, lock up deals every day with a thick accent. I work with a lot of Mexican wholesalers here in Phoenix. Yeah. And so, listen, you can go out there and you can do this work. If you feel like people are not doing business with you because of your accent, then don't do business with those people.
Right.
But if there's true motivation, you win.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, 99% of people have people from the Philippines, India, or South America make their cold calls for them.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. And I'm like,
You
how
know
many
what
of
I
them are
mean?
successful?
So, yeah, I mean, listen, there's a ton of people don't let that hold you back. I would highly suggest that you keep working on it. I would highly suggest that maybe you take some acting classes. This might sound out of left field, but for real, it's going to teach you how actors go in and change their tone of voice and the way that they say things. You can literally adapt it, and it could be something that you work on.
Good stuff. All right, from Chuck. Do you recommend to start by using your personal name on contract/assignment or use an LLC? Well, we're not attorneys, but I will always tell you the LLC will have more protection and liability, but don't let that stop you from just getting started.
Right.
I mean, you could do your personal name on contracts. My first 2 deals, no, that's a lie. My first deal, I did my personal name. The second deal, I had an LLC.
Yep.
Terry from IG. Does your batch blast cover all states? Some searches don't work in the Ithaca, New York area. Just curious. I don't use texting as much as we used to about a year and a half ago, but I don't believe there's any restrictions, is there?
I don't know what he means. Batch blast cover all states.
I think he's referring text.
Batch leads, does it cover all states?
Batch leads?
Batch dialer, or batch
batch
texting.
leads does all.
I mean, I think all of the above, whatever system it is. I'm pretty sure they don't have any restrictions location-wise.
No.
But I think he's saying that some places don't work, and he's just wondering.
I think he lives in Ithaca, and there's probably some software he's tried that doesn't work or something.
Terry, what have you been using to search for lists?
Well, he has another question too.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the biggest deals you're going to do, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, that deal in Buckeye, that we sold to the hedge fund, it is a hoarder house, and it is, like 1,000 cats.
Is that hedge fund buying it in the condition it's in?
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. Did they
No inspection, sight unseen, bro.
Come on.
Come on,
So easy.
You got to get the deal. You got to listen. Selling the deal in our market is not the tough part.
Right.
Finding the deal is
Absolutely.
where the money's made.
Who did you just have on yesterday that said they paid like $1,000 and they just came in and cleared everything out?
Yeah, you can. We have. I've got a junk guy, that Mike the junk guy. He's in my phone as Mike the junk guy. He's literally told me I'm Mike the junk guy. He's like, you want me to put you in my phone as that? He goes, yeah, put me in your phone as Mike the junk guy. You know what? Mike loves it. He brings a whole crew, and they clear it all out for like $1,000. It's crazy. I mean, it depends on if it's a true like. There's like paths of you know that you have to go through with the junk.
Yeah,
That's a whole
right.
different thing.
Right.
But yeah.
Wow.
Lila,
Lil Alex.
Little Alex. How is that little? Oh, okay, I got it. I'm seeing it now. I thought it was Lila Lex. It's Little Alex. Okay. Hey Brent, got a lead that's very motivated to sell. ARV. I'm sorry, Little Alex. Hey Brent, got a lead that's very motivated to sell. ARV I'm getting is about 80K. She says it needs some work. She just lost her husband, so we haven't set up an appointment yet. Should I pursue? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Go solve that problem, Alex.
Absolutely.
For real. Go see what's going on. I mean, listen, if the ARV is 80K, you just got to find out how much they want for it and what the condition of the property is. It might not work.
And if they owe anything too.
So I would find out what price they want. Same thing. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. That's what you're pulling out of every conversation. There you go. Lila.
Good one.
All right.
From Nathaniel, how do you structure a JV and how do you do one? I mean, I think
Awesome.
that's a great question. There's a million different ways to structure a JV. So I like to just do like what we do for most of our deals is, let's say that I bring it to a guy at a dispo arm and I say, hey, I have it at this price. I'm looking to make this much. What would you buy it at? Let's say they can move it, or maybe they don't commit to it and they can move it 10K higher. Sometimes I'll just assign it out to them for that 10K. They'll sign it out. They'll make their 10K. It's good to go. I do that so that way I'm not taking the whole EIN or Social Security to 1099 them at the end of the year. The other option is, I mean, a lot of people do a
Say that again.
What?
You're doing it so that you don't take their EIN?
Yeah, so I don't want to take like their employer identification number or their social, because obviously like if we make 10K and then I'm cutting them a check for 10, I have to pay tax off that 20.
Right.
So then I have to basically
You want to get them paid. You
Out
don't
of
want
title.
them to go to you.
Yep, from title.
Yeah, always get paid through title, guys.
Yep. And then the other option, I mean, a lot of people like to do is the whole exclusive, non-exclusive option, and then you basically just convert that to an assignment or double close. But how do you structure? Is there anything different?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on which part of the JV you are. Are you the one getting the deal, or are you the one finding the buyer for that deal, right? What is your JV partnership there? If you're the one finding the deal, what I would highly suggest you do is you tell them, this is the price that I want for it, and anything above it you can keep, as opposed to, hey, let's just do a 50-50. If you were one of my students, that's what I would say. Make sure that you set your price, and anything above it they keep. Don't do the whole 50-50 thing, unless you have no buyers. There's no way that you're going to get this thing sold, and you will make $0 unless you work with this person. So if you feel like you've got a good buyer base and they're going to you could sell this yourself, but this person is going to make it go a lot smoother because they have different buyers that maybe will pay more. Great, JV.
Right. And I should clarify. I mean, I go to people with my price I'm asking for. So it's usually like a 20K assignment. And then from there, they'll be like, I could pay this much. And I'll say, yeah, I'll have you commit to this price. But if you can sell it above this price, we'll split whatever that difference is.
And I guess it also depends, Nathaniel, if you are brand new and this is like your first couple deals just to go through and have your hand held during the process, and it's with a really reputable person, then you could split it with them. But, as soon as you can, build up your cash buyer database and keep as much of the profits as possible.
Boom.
Boom. One more.
Let's do it.
Dylan, hey Brent, I have a seller who wants to sell but doesn't know where to start, looking for next living situation, where to go, etc. Great. I mean, where do they, listen, why do they want to sell? That's the question. If they're living in that property, why do they want to sell? And if they know why they want to sell, the where is easy. It's just the timeline. I mean, they can find somewhere to go. It just depends on if they know where they want to go. You know what I mean? Like, why? What's the they have to be motivated to sell it as is for cash. If it's something where they have to make a decision, or they're going to lose the house. They need to make the decision, or it's going to keep getting worse and worse condition. They need to make a decision because they just can't stand where they're living anymore, or whatever else. But if it's just a convenience, if they're like, yeah, I know the market's up and I just want to sell it and, buy a motorhome and travel the world, I don't know. It depends on their motivation.
Oh, show.
Yeah. We don't get into the whole, we'll find you the next property or anything like that. I mean, we will solve all the problems with their house, but their next living situation gets real sticky. We'll refer them to a real estate agent that can help them find either a rental or their next property.
Absolutely.
But we're not gonna get into that game.
Yep.
Yep. Awesome. And that's it.
Beautiful.
That's it.
What a great show.
Fantastic.
Albert, crushing.
Feeling good, man. That was a great show.
I love it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining. Let's put up, here you go. Follow us on Instagram so that you can go to the meetup. With Ryan and Albert. They are going to do they do an incredible meetup here in the Phoenix area. Make sure that you check that out. All of the details are in your Instagram and Millionaire Before 30 blueprint. Let's close with this. Number 1, do a deal.
Do a deal.
Pull income out of the air through your voice and your skills and your enthusiasm and your energy and your focus and your posture. Do a deal.
Then, as the theme of today's show, go full time. You've got the proof of concept. You have the understanding of how to make money. And like Brent said, pulling it out of thin air. You're able to then go and replicate this, and you're able to do it on a higher scale because you are full time in this business.
Kill the debt. The average American goes from January to October paying all of their income going towards their taxes and their debt. Like, come on. You got to kill the debt. Stop being somebody else's ROI.
You're back to ground zero. What do? You invest into assets. You obviously have money coming in because you're full-time. You've got the debt gone. Now what? You're investing into assets that's going to create residual passive income, which leads to the 5th and final step, which is what we're all trying to accomplish.
Financial freedom, baby, which basically, if you just boil it down, if you look inside what financial freedom means, it is control of the time you have left on this planet.
That's the word. Control
of the time you have left on this planet. That is the blueprint. We love you guys. I'm gone next week, so we're going to be, unless you want to rock it, we'll just go in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll go 2 weeks.
We will be back, not next week, but the week after, and we look forward to seeing you guys. Love you guys. See you then.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bank